The feast of Christ the King emphasizes the importance of compassionate actions in our lives. The Lord is a shepherd. At the end, at his coming, he will hand over the kingdom to his Father. He will judge between one sheep and another, between rams and goats, between those who have lived lives for others and those who have lived for themselves. We celebrate this Sunday the solemnity of Christ the King, the Lord of the universe. Christ the King is the just judge. How do we think we will be judged when we die or at the end of time? Are we kind to others? Do we ever think about how we would treat Jesus if he were here? Do we treat other people the way we would treat Jesus? Will you follow Jesus? As we celebrate the feast of Christ the King, the Gospel passage challenges us to reflect on how we encounter Christ in a daily life through acts of love and service to others. It echoes the call of the church. Let's see how the saints set examples to embody Christ's kingship through their actions and our actions. Compassionate service. Mother Teresa says, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." Teresa of Calcutta, unwavering dedication to serving the poorest of the poor, emphasizing the small acts of love and compassion, can create a significant impact. Today, God's love, as we celebrate the solemnity of Christ the King, creates compassionate service in our lives. Are we willing to create that ripple effect Christ has given us in our lives through the Word of God and the sacrament? Start by doing what's necessary, then do what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible, says St. Francis of Assisi. Love for all creation. St. Francis of Assisi's profound love for God's creation and his humility in serving others inspires us to step out of our comfort zone to make a difference. Christ is the King of the universe. It calls for a love towards the universe, to step out of a comfort zone and to make a difference that comes only in serving in all humility to our fellow brothers and sisters. Another beautiful quote of Mother Teresa: "Spread love everywhere you go. Let no one ever come to you without leaving happier." Spreading love and joy through simple acts of kindness. It encourages us to be channels of God's love in an interaction. Today, there are two types of people, bitter and better people. Maximilian Kolbe says the most deadly poison of our time is indifference. Maximilian Kolbe gave his life at the concentration camp. His sacrificial love, exemplified by his selfless sacrifice at Auschwitz. It urges us to combat indifference and stand up for justice and compassion. Today, in the war between Israel and Gaza Strip, war between Russia and Ukraine, a lot of innocent people are dying. There's so much of indifference, political polarization. Different nations support different aspects of life. For us, we can only show compassion, love. It's time not for indifference, but God calls us towards sacrificial love. As we celebrate the great feast of solemnity of Christ the King, may we follow the example set by saints in our daily lives, reaching out to the marginalized, caring for the vulnerable, promoting a culture of solidarity and compassion in the contemporary world. The transformative power of love and service invites us to be instruments of Christ's kingship in our own communities. In a society that denies the authority of a Lord is no less pertinent Now then, it was then. In the words of Pope Francis, let's not forget, God forgives all and God forgives always. Let's never tire of asking for forgiveness. May we live out Christ's kingship by embodying in love, mercy, and compassion in our interactions. May we serve others as we encounter Christ, our true King. We all strive to reflect the compassionate heart of Christ the King in our words and in our deeds. The Feast of Christ the King emphasizes the importance of compassionate action in our lives.